Elliott, I'd like to start with the most relevant question of the time right now with this whole situation with the pandemic. We will not hijack this session with just the pandemic, but I think it's important we start there. Do you think it has caused organizations to pivot in the way they design solutions and deliver training? With virtual learning kind of being the approach right now, it's becoming kind of mainstream. And there's also a significant shift towards self-paced training. So it's really a two-part question. Do you think we are at the cusp of a radical shift in how organizations embrace, or at least should embrace, a post-pandemic reality? And do you see organizations making the right investment in that direction? Also, how is the modern learner evolving and adapting to this situation? We'll start with you, Elliott.
Well, it's the perfect question. It's a difficult question because we are at a difficult time in our world, in our companies, in our marketplaces. And you also, and it's sort of strange, we're also at a time of innovation, of creation, of adaptation, and the like. I would start by saying how proud I am of the learning field. In literally every country around the world, we have had to pivot. We've had to shift very quickly. And literally like that, our employees were at home. Or our employees couldn't be at home. They needed to be at the hospital or in an essential role. And we needed to do two things. We needed to do the training and learning that we always needed to do for a new skill, a new role, a new competency. But we also needed to support our learners because suddenly it was different. So, you could imagine, Vas, you're working from home and you're on that wonderful system and suddenly you get to field number 7. And normally Vanook is right next to you and it tells you how to do that, but he's not there. Or a manager, Patricia, is having a difficult problem, and normally she has coffee at lunch with somebody who is her mentor. So we have seen organizations not only do traditional learning and training and performance enhancement, but also create support for our colleagues. Now, to just be really blunt, okay, we did a great job of getting everybody connected. We've done a middle job of design, and we have a chat room over there, okay? So you can imagine how many Zoom sessions you've been on, how many numbers of meetings you've been on, how many people might feel fatigued by it. But I don't criticize learning because really we've done what we could right now. But when you think about the world of learning, we're moving in a direction now of how do we make different forms of learning. As you said, digital learning. I like to use the word hybrid, where we will combine online with face-to-face, even if face-to-face maybe is a mobile-to-mobile. And this is a really important piece, we become more creative in the design. So here are 3 rules of Elliott, and then we'll pass it on. Number 1, most people have to go to the bathroom about every hour or so. It sounds strange, but the reality is that if I schedule a 90-minute program, which works fine in the classroom, at home, it's tough because they are working with their colleagues, they're working with their family, they're working with their dogs near there. Number 2, we believe that under stress, and we're at a time of stress, people don't memorize as well as they normally do. When they're stressful, they don't memorize as much. So we're going to have to become aware of that. And number 3, many roles and tasks and processes have shifted. And we'll hear from Darryl a lot about, enablement. But one of the big elements is some people have now had to do things by video that they never did by video. A sales call with somebody you've never met. A large law firm onboarding people who they've never interviewed before. Now they're working for them. But I am impressed. I'm impressed that we've done it not only for the workforce, but for the children, for the university students, for music. Religion has gone online. Now, and this is the important thing, Vinook, as you look to the future, now how do we make it great? How do we make it sustainable? And how do we blend? And I think it's really important for suppliers like yours, and for colleagues, we need to learn from each other. What's working? What's not working? How long should that meeting be? What happens about that worker who needs to, for instance, do their work at 6 a.m. before their family wakes up? And so many changes are there. At the end, and I don't know if it's the end of the pandemic. We don't know. Nobody has that knowledge. But at the end of this chapter, I think what we're going to find are many changes to business, to learning, and we are going to need to work together to adapt and change our creativity. But I am impressed. I think we all in the learning field have stood up and been really important in this process.